Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. And here on this live stream, you are gonna get a very nice hour of some improvised live looping. All vocals. We have the foundations of a beat right here. I am going to be building up this beat with some more vocals only improvisation, improvised live looping. We're going to bring the synth as well. We might talk about stuff. It's going to be a really good studio session. It's called Tinker Time. My regulars know what it is. Speaking of my regulars, with us already in the chat, we have got and if you are new to the Reconsider It live streams, welcome! You made the right decision joining us. We want you here. Friends, at this time we are in a warm-up phase. We are just getting the blood flowing. We are just getting ourselves situated to what's going on, to which end is up. What is this foundation of a beat that we'll be building upon on this stream? And as we get ourselves situated and get the blood flowing, I need to celebrate. I need to celebrate Thank you for being here. Whoop. Thank you for being here. Whether you are here with us live in the chat, whether you are here with us live but you are not in the chat, whether you are here with us after the live, you are watching on replay, however it is that you are here with us. Thank you for being here. I am going to celebrate you at this time in this way. I have got my drink. I am going to count to 3 and I'm going to clink. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness. 1. 2. 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. That's really good. That's got all the good. I was oh man, that's good. It's really good. I'm really a big fan of all that. That was just so good, and all the good that's good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share this video where it would be well received. Friends, we have got a Tinker stream on our hands. That's really good. That's a good thing. That's good. We got a good thing. There's a good thing that's good. We just have some good stuff. It's nice. We got good things. We got goods. Nice. More than one good, we got some goods. We got some goods. And I was feeling pretty, high and mighty. I was like, oh, look at me. We have a Tinker stream. Do. I'm having such a good time already because the man River X is with us. And my Logify is with us. But then... joined us as well. And I was like, whoa, that really blows my mind. And now my mind is hereby expanded to new levels of frames of reference. And we do have a Tinker stream on our hands, my friends. This is really good news. So, let's start by building up the beat a little bit. I'm going to build up the percussion. We don't have much going on in the percussion right now. This is all we got in the percussion. Some kicks. And one layer of these like shaker type thing that's getting kind of drowned out. So let's add a little more. Mike says, this is sounding very chill energy right now. It is pretty chill. I think you're right about that. I was over here just thinking about whether I want to start a conversation about something. I do, kinda, but I'm not sure exactly what I feel like talking about right now. Once again, I have that experience of having a topic or topics plural that I think about when I'm not on a stream, and I'm like, oh yeah, next time I talk about something on a stream, I should talk about this. And I just never write it down, but I should. I should make some kind of just ongoing list. I do have a list, but it's really verbose with like long explanations, which is not exactly what I'm looking for. I need to have just like, here's what, 7 or 8 things. Here are the core themes that we keep coming back to on the Recon live streams. They would include topics that are philosophical or mystical in nature, in orientation. A few topics in that area, in those areas. I always like to say comic books should be one of them, because I just love comic book culture so much. When we have the chance to talk about that. Mental health actually is one that should probably be in the list. If you're in my Discord, you know that we have a mental health channel in my Discord. Join my Discord, by the way. My Discord is not publicly searchable, but you can find me, just reconsider it, and send me a friend request, and then I can invite you to my Discord, where we have, usual Discord stuff, memes, and, here's some links you like and all that. We have a few music-related channels for people's live streams. Here's some other cool live stream, that I just found. There's a channel for my content, my live streams, my other content. So it does what you expect a Discord to do. And mental health is one of the channels there, where we talk about that. I run a mental health training, a small, basics 101 mental health training. I lead a team of people who give that training twice a month at my organization. We were just talking the past week or so about some changes that I'm going to be making in the materials. Make them a little more accessible, a little clearer. Some good ideas. So that remains a topic of possibly bringing up. Mike says he also has a list just to get him to primed to think about stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Me and Mike. We got that old cliche. Great minds think. the man Mike gets the first chat pinned to the screen of the stream. Says he likes hearing the keys alongside loops. Good. Glad to hear that's working. Mike says, referring to himself, he says, I should learn some scales. I used to know scales, but I need to refresh my memory. I'm just at the, barely the beginning of music theory myself. What it means to play in a scale, what are chords? as a melody. I don't even really know that right now. I haven't gotten that far in my music theory. But I'm not memorizing scales. That I can tell you. All I memorized was the formula for the major scales. Whole, whole, half, whole, whole, half. And then I just extrapolate the scale before I go live every time. I'm like, oh, A flat, okay, what's it? Done. And then I noticed that, and for anybody who's been playing a keyboard for mad years, the following is probably very obvious to you, but to me, this is relatively new. That on a keyboard, you know, like a typical keyboard like I have here, that any of the major scales, they take on a very recognizable visual pattern. Like this one is simply, you gotta have the upper two black notes and then the rest white. So it's a very easy pattern. So I don't memorize any of the scales, I just extrapolate them at the beginning of every stream and then look for the visual pattern and then just stick with that visual pattern because it's easy. Remembering exactly where it's rooted though. Got the visual pattern, but it's rooted here. And then this is the first and the second and the third and, you know, etc. So I like dynamically inform and remind myself before every stream. And then just play around in the scale. And during that stream, I develop a lot of familiarity with that scale. I make no claims regarding how much I retain after the stream. But certainly during that stream, I get a good amount of familiarity. Comfortable, it feels fluid and fluent. Mike says, wow, you're putting all that together on the fly? Yeah, in general, everything I do is on the fly. One of my philosophies, I talk about this once in a while. This is my philosophy nowadays for music. This was not always my philosophy, and I do not claim that this will always be my philosophy. This is not an ideology. This is just my philosophy, my current modus operandi. Is that, you know, I spent years doing everything in my power to be a musician by focusing a lot on my art, my craft. Specifically, you know, production and rap and performance. You know, the performance element of it, being at the venue, putting on the performance, engaging the audience. So I put so many years into that. Let's say 2 decades, approximately. I invested so much of my time and energy and resources in that, only to find that my success depends on more than just my effort, like my personal isolated effort by myself. There's other things that my success depends on. And many of those things are out of my control. And I said, I don't want to keep, you know, putting so much time and energy and effort into like writing an album, and then what? A couple people hear it. So I don't put that. This leads me to my philosophy. Because I've done all of that. I've released albums. I've played live shows to audiences and all that. I've put all the weeks and months into making the song just perfect. I've done all that, and I know where it leads and what it yields. And hence I have a new philosophy these days. My music philosophy these days is as follows. Is that I'm only planning to invest my time and energy in things that require little to no, or I guess I should say, things that require no to little usage of my time and energy before or after the performance of the music. And that's what my live streams are. My live streams are just every aspect of all of it is completely improvised and made up on the spot. The loops, the keys, my arrangement, flipping them on and off, everything is just improvised. And I don't do any prep beforehand aside from putting the beat together within maybe, let's say, 15, 20 minutes before the stream starts. I put the foundation of the beat together. That's a little bit of an investment of time. I have to schedule the stream. That takes 5 minutes. Then I do the stream, and everything's completely improvised because there's no prep. And there's also little to no follow-up. Follow-up generally includes save the beat, and then afterward, once every 2 weeks or so, once every 2 to 3 weeks, I take beats that I've saved and save them off onto my laptop so that I can free up the space on my loopers again. Because I make a lot of beats. I make like 4 or 5 beats a week. Let's say 3 to 5 beats a week. Which is what, 15, 20 beats a month? And I certainly don't use the beats I make. I use some of them. I don't even use a quarter of the beats I make. I don't even use a fifth of the beats I make. So I have a lot of beats that I made, but I wind up not doing much with. So if you want a beat, let's talk. You made some beat. You want some beat that I made on one of my streams? You want the loops? So anyway, little to no prep, little to no follow-up. My music philosophy these days is everything improvised, everything, brushed away like a sand mandala or mandala. If you know what I'm talking about there, a sand mandala, where you get some Tibetan monks make this like very beautiful sand painting, spend a week making this beautiful sand painting, and then at the end of the week they just destroy it as an exercise in recognizing impermanence. So don't get attached to things per the Buddhist philosophy. So that's what my philosophy is about music right now. Just jump on a stream, unplanned, completely improvised creativity. Once the stream's done, very little follow-up. Some of the beats I do use, and I make little songs that I release on Mondays. I don't do that every week, but, once a month or something. I don't know. There's not really any frequency to that right now. I would like to do that more. It takes time, and I don't always have a lot of time. My music time is on the streams. That's what I'm saying about my philosophy. In my music philosophy right now, it is not a priority for me to spend a lot of time with written content, perfecting a song that I'm going to release. That's not a high priority right now. The priority is just doing a lot of live streams, just improvised, giving you your favorite online hangout here in Tinker Time. Has joined us. That was like 10 minutes ago. I'm about 10 minutes behind on the chat. Also with us, as I get caught up right now, Milky! So he has some thoughts about my music philosophy. Though I do like rap, and I want to rap more. A couple of people in our YouTube community tell me, like, oh, you should do some raps on my beats. And I'm like, okay. I like the... It's... I don't know if this is intuitive or if this is counterintuitive. I guess in some ways it's intuitive. In some ways it's counterintuitive. But I often find it easier to rap on other people's beats as opposed to my own beats. I wonder if what's going on, at least partly, is that when it's my own beats, like I've already expressed the rhythm through my beats. Whereas when I'm on someone else's beats, there's some kind of rhythm for me to express and expose still, and I do that through the rap. So what I'm saying is, even though I have this philosophy currently at this phase in my musician fullness, where I say I don't want to invest a lot of time in writing songs I'm going to release, and I'm just doing these improvised live streams, and that's really all my priority is. That's just my priorities, but I do want to still do some raps. So you might see me do that. You do occasionally see me release a little like 16-bar rap song. So I'd like to do that. The most recent one was on a beat by Donald Duck. That's on in my videos right now. That song is called what's that called? It's called something. The title says produced by Donald Duck. So if you search for Donald Duck, you'll find it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to remembering what it's called. So who knows? We'll see. If I do work with anyone and they give me some beats to write some raps on, maybe I'll do that. Because I do like rap. And everybody's always telling me that my rap's so good and they want to hear more rap, and why don't you rap? You need to rap more. You should be rapping. Well, I need some beats. Give me some beats. Give me some beats. I'll rap on the beats. Or like here in the live streams, I've said that I do want to practice my freestyle raps more. And occasionally on the streams I do that. But I've extended this following invitation at least once, and I'm hereby reaffirming that this is a standing invitation for anybody who is here with us live in the chat. If you put at the beginning of your chat in capital letters, you put the number 4 and then in capital letters the word rap, 4 rap, then I can look over there and do some freestyle raps maybe about whatever you're talking about. Maybe. I don't make any claims about that. You're gonna put some like complicated astrophysics and like the innards of a synthesizer oscillator. I'll rock the fader. But I'm not gonna say your desire in that case. I'm getting caught up on the chat still here. There's some nice gear-related chats going on right now. I know so little about gear. What you're looking at here, these 3 pieces of gear, is all I know. Plus, I have a mixer, but I do have issues. I'm having actually software issues right now. I'm trying to install a DAW because I have some ideas for a song I want to do. That a DAW is really the place to do it rather than live through everything. So I'm trying to get this DAW to work. It was working and then it stopped working. Presumably I changed something. But aside from this stuff, I don't really know much about gear. Everybody's talking about MPCs recently. The MPC Live 3 or whatever came out a couple months ago. But there's all this MPC talk at the moment. There's a lot of hype around MPCs right now. So that's a device that I've considered because it looks like something I would resonate with very quickly. My musical journey started with samples. I used to make songs in Propellerhead Acid using samples. That was where I started for a couple years. That's all I did, really. Eventually, I moved on to a DAW where I could make my own music and such. But for a couple years, all I did musically was arrange loops in Acid. So the MPC very much resonates with me, and I'm interested in it. The other one that interests me is the SP404, and I forget the rest of its name, but that one, which is like, in the lo-fi world, that's just the piece of gear, the SP404. So those are the 2 pieces of gear where if I were to get something new, probably I would be most strongly considering one of those 2. Most likely the SP404 is where I would start. The MPC would be the not as much of a sooner to start. But I don't know. I currently don't have intentions of getting either of those. I'd like to play around with them if I could. Rithlancer says, don't go DAW. Yeah, man. I don't push back on that comment at all. But for this particular project, I need a DAW. It needs to be like very specific notes, and I'm not that good at playing keys yet that I can very carefully make sure I'm hitting all the notes properly. So I'm going to use a DAW for it. Milky says, is it Reaper? The answer is no. It's a program called Ardor. Ardour. Ardor. I considered using Reason, but the version of Reason I have, which is really old, 3.0, that's from like 20 years ago, or maybe more actually. That doesn't let me load long wave files. So I need that. I'm gonna the project I'm going to be doing, I'm going to perform a loop arrangement, and then I'm going to put a melody on top of it. Milky says, I have the MPC. I have MPC Live too. I heard that if you're familiar with one MPC, that easily translates to the other models. Was there like 5 or 6 different models of MPC? I don't even know. Milky says the MPC is pretty cool. The MPC Live 2 he has is pretty cool, but the workflow threw me for a minute. I believe it. Every piece of equipment, you're gonna be like, what? I didn't anticipate that. That's not how I would have done it. Why'd they do it that way? And you have to, like, no matter how much you don't like it, you have to learn how to use it as it is. Some good life lessons in there. Milky says those really early propeller head software were ace. Yeah, propeller head Reason. I had Reason 1.0 and 3.0. Very, very. This was like the year 2000 or 2005 or whatever it was. It was very, very old. But it was great. I did so much. There's so much production that I did that... Actually, you know what? Here, for everybody who's live in the chat, I'm going to give you a treat. And of course, if you're joining us, if you're live but not in the chat, you're going to still get this benefit. But if you're joining us after the live, as I always say, I encourage you to open up the live chat replay because the chat is part of the stream. In any case, I'm going to put a link into the chat right now with some of my really old stuff, like from 2005. This was when I was just barely beginning to learn music. When I thought that my effort was all that mattered. Skill didn't matter, like my ability, like my music theory. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter. No, it matters. So this is me just like trying to make music with no music theory knowledge at all, or the most minimal music theory knowledge. Lots of weird experimentation, time signatures, which is my favorite thing. Anyway, I'm going to grab the link real quick and I'm going to put it in the chat. It's in the chat. That's a secret. Just keep that between us. But in that search there, you'll find like 25 songs or something at archive.org. And that's my old content from like 2005, 2010, that time frame. And most of that is me doing production in Reason Propellerhead Reason 3.0 is most of it. So you can go check that out if you want. That's like only the most hardcore Reconsiderate fans will go digging into that. That's like the real old, you know, when I was still young, sketch pads, my sketchbook and just little private experiments. That's what that stuff is. Not really ready for prime time yet. My weird experiments. A lot of them are actually, they have a lot of good elements, but the mixing is bad. So be careful with with listening to it. The mixing, the compressing, there's zero compression. The mixing is not good at all. So, you know, listener beware. But again, if you want to hear the old, where did Reconsiderate start in terms of music making? That's the thing right there. That's a good example of something to look at. I even have 2 albums up there, I believe. I guess I should double check. At least partially. There's a double album. Two 8-song long, kind of long EPs maybe, that go together. They complement each other. And there's like patterns in the songs and such. I used to love doing that kind of stuff. Writing an album and like, how do you arrange the songs? How do you write the songs? Do you write just songs individually having nothing to do with each other and then put them together? I don't really consider that an album. That's really more of a collection. Or do you write a bunch of songs and like while you're writing them, they have cross references to each other and you arrange them in a certain way, and that's more of an album in my mind. And that's fun. I love doing that kind of stuff. I would love to. I need a producer to work with. I see there's some comments about the SP404. Milky says SP404 is the bomb. Rizlancer says SP404 is on my shopping list. Milky says, are you intentionally avoiding Ableton? The answer is not necessarily, because I was using that other piece of software. I'm trying to use it. Ardor. I actually just tried to start installing it like yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm just at the beginning of it. I'm using it because it's free, frankly. That's my motivation. Milky says, live chat has reinvented YouTube. I think you're right. I honestly don't know whether this is just like, I only discovered this in the past maybe 2 years or so. Is that what's going on? Like it's always been here, but just I personally discovered this in the past 2 years or so? Or has there actually been a change? Like a cultural shift? There are more people getting into live streams on YouTube. I don't know. But in my world, it definitely is a bigger presence. That is to say, YouTube live streams, much bigger presence in my life than they were 2 or 3 years ago. It was basically nothing. I had no exposure to YouTube live streams just 2 or 3 years ago. But now it's like an everyday thing. For hours a day, I'm on somebody's YouTube live stream. All my regulars know, like I see you in other live streams all day long. We're always seeing each other in each other's live streams. Milky says he has an Ableton session going with 2 different live time signatures, 4/4 and 7/8. That's nice. That's cool stuff. I never did a lot of that in Reason. There wasn't an easy way to do that in my version of Reason. I did it sometimes, but, you know, it gets a little confusing and unintuitive, difficult to work with. Unwieldy is perhaps the best word for that. Milky says, I'm experimental too. That's cool. Yeah, check out my stuff that I put in the chat, that archive.org search. You'll hear some really experimental stuff. And it goes like, you know, there's weird genres that you never imagined before. It's like seeing a rainbow and then seeing new colors that you've never seen before. That's what it's like listening to my old content. River says that Symptoms of Reality is doing a birthday stream for the twins. Oh, that's right. Their birthday is today. It looks like we're almost at 2 hours. I'm going to go a little longer still, but after this stream, after I close this stream, however much longer we go, I might jump over to the Symptoms of Reality to see what's happening over there. If you don't know Symptoms of Reality, if you don't know what we're talking about, Symptoms of Reality is just one of the channels that's in our YouTube community. They are one of our hubs, you know, one of the centralized places that many people from our communities kind of coalesce. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Commune, congregate. Congregate is probably the right word. Symptoms of Reality is like music plus hangout plus comedy. More like funny personalities, not like stand-up comedy. But you got the twins and the producer. Today's the twins' birthday, and they're doing something. So yeah, I should go see what's happening over there once we wrap up here. But we're still gonna have a little bit more Reconsider live stream for right now. We got a full loop already though, so that's pretty good. Please like this video. Also with us in the chat right now, we got Black Rose! Which is great. Black Rose stopping by to say hi. I like it. That's good. River X makes mention of Valentine's Day. It is Valentine's Day. That is true. It is filled with Valentine's Day fullness. Milky says, going back to the year, like roughly 2006, circa 2006-ish, I used to get asked by people commenting on my videos, that is to say Milky referring to his own videos, or music rather, on SoundCloud. Milky says people used to ask me if I was using odd time signatures, and the truth is I wasn't sure because I was doing sampling on the 404, the SP404. Yeah, I saw somebody using, it might have been the SP404. Somebody was using a device like that recently, and they were doing like these weird complicated time signatures where each bar wasn't just common time. It was like looping, and sometimes it was 5 count, sometimes it was like a 6 count. I often think about doing these live streams with some unusual time signature, like 7. 7 is a really smooth one, or like 11. 11 is another one that's pretty smooth. You can do that pretty nicely, and people can just groove with it without knowing that it's a weird, you know, if you do something in a 5 count, it can get pretty weird and jagged and people notice it. But if you can do something, or even like a 15 count, like just barely missing a full common time loop, that's nice. That kind of stuff is smooth. I like that. I mean, I like the weird jagged stuff too. I love weird time signatures. That's one of my favorite things. So anyway, like I say, I think about doing that on live streams sometimes, but I often don't. I mean, I almost never have. There's maybe been a couple where I did, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll make some of those. Like I say, a 7 count is pretty nice. 11 or 15 count can be really smooth, and you might not even notice. You might be like, what is it about this beat? I'm not sure exactly what it is. Yeah, it's because it's like a 15 count. Or you could do like a 17 count, so it's just over the full 16. And there's like just one extra little hang for a beat. That kind of stuff is fun. In addition to the just straight up bizarre rhythms. Milky says, I myself just stumbled on Symptoms of Reality within the past couple months. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice how people keep discovering my page, how they keep discovering other pages in our communities. It's cool. I like having more and more people come join us here in our chats, here in Tinker Time, or other live streams of mine like Unspoken. Symptoms of Reality is a powerhouse. That's my words. I'm not reading that from the chat. Milky says, I discovered Soar from Hardware Jams. Hardware Jams also is really nice. If you're not familiar with Hardware Jams, like Milky is talking about, Hardware Jams is a really good page, a good YouTube page to go explore. Hardware Jams is a community of hardware musicians, no DAW, no digital audio workstation, just hardware, mostly people using synthesizers and other like weird machinery. And every week they have a challenge. They say, hey, hundreds of people in the community, go make a song about blah, some kind of topic or theme, some kind of, technical challenge. Use no more than 5 cables. They do stuff like that sometimes. Hardware Jams had a unusual time signature challenge like 2 years ago, and that was one of the first Hardware Jams I ever did. And people loved it. I usually get a lot of positive feedback, which is good. Anyway, so Hardware Jams, every week they have a challenge, and then everybody gets 3 days to make a song. And then on Monday, every Monday, they stream for like 3 or 4 hours, and they just play everybody's song that is a response to that musical challenge. You get a really wide range of stuff on those live streams, and everybody's so like mutually supportive of each other. Hardware Jams is great. And if you yourself are a musician, by the way, that's one of the themes that I want to be bringing more into my live streams. Because I know that a lot of my audience is other musicians. Other just like, bedroom musicians like I am. Hobbyist, where, your music takes up a big part of your life. It's not just a hobby, but it's not exactly professional either. A lot of my audience is in that category, and you might be right now, you listening, or you might not, but many of the people in my audience are. And so that's another thing I want to bring more to the foreground and talk more about that, like that lifestyle of being a musician, where it's a significant part of your life. It's not just a hobby, but it's not something you do professionally either. It's like a very significant form of your personal expression. You may or may not have a goal with it. You may or may not have specific music projects. You might just make stuff and you don't necessarily have a specific focus. That's a big demographic. There's a lot of people from my generation who are in that demographic, where we thought, like, when I grew up at the time, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, which was like the time when music was at its peak and then suddenly stopped. Where like it was always so like the thing to do was go to a concert, go to a live show, to idolize some band. Oh, did you hear the latest blah song from blah artist? Did you get the latest album from blah artist? That was always like the hugest thing. And so there's a lot of people from my generation where we kind of devoted our lives to trying to be a musician, because that was always, you know, what seemed to be the brightest shining star, so to speak. But then at the end of the 90s and then going into the 2000s and ever since, music has just taken such a drop. It's so not a thing anymore. And so there's a lot of people in my demographic, my generation, my age bracket, in my audience. There's a lot of us who are in that position where it's like, we have invested all this time in being a musician, but there's a lot more, we're doing a lot more supply than there is demand. And social media doesn't exactly help us to reach the like finely selected people who would like us. You know, my YouTube channel right now has like 636 followers or something. I just got like 10 in the past couple days. I had a burst for, you know, whoever I meet in other streams, that suddenly there's a bunch that come through. But 636 subscribers, I am very confident that there are more than 636 YouTube users who would really like my content. In fact, I'm confident that there'd be at least a good number of thousands of YouTube users who would like my content, but YouTube doesn't exactly... I don't even know how to say it. Like, the YouTube algorithm does not prioritize helping an artist like me, an independent content creator. YouTube does not prioritize assisting me in finding my audience. That's not their business model. There's no reason that YouTube should prioritize that. What YouTube prioritizes is pushing the things that get a lot of eyes, of course. But there's a lot of people in my position like that, creating content and sort of haphazardly, slowly making contact with some of your audience and slowly growing. I don't know that I'm building up to a point here. I'm just saying that's part of my audience, and so it's something that I think more about discussing on streams, and I might. And for all the artists who are part of my community, part of the Reconsider It discussions, I encourage you to weigh in on this topic. I should have said that at the beginning before I said a million things. Let's have this be one of the topics that's just always open for anyone to jump in and say something on that topic. Milky says, I like, going back to the topic of time signatures, I like dynamically just changing a couple bars here or there. It might be normal 16 bar loops or what have you, but then just like once you make it 15 or once you make it 17. Yeah, that's cool stuff. That's exactly the kind of art that I like to do. I'm very much into time and things like that. Oh, speaking of people who are into time, we have got Loop Bass Zero! Another good artist channel, if you're not familiar with LBZ. He is a loop artist, often experimental with his guitar and more, not just guitar. You get some noise in there. There's some like scary soundscapes that he makes. So that's cool stuff if you like that kind of content. Loop Bass Zero is a good page. Glad I found that. Glad I stumbled on his. I don't even know how I found his page. LBZ says when he's making songs, he doesn't count a beat. He just sort of goes for whatever the loop, calls for. However long it is, whatever it turns out to be. I'm a little sick at the moment. I'm like at the end of. Oh, this is called stress letdown. I just remembered this term. I was trying to remember it all day. If you've never heard of this, it's something that's worth a quick Google. It's called stress letdown. And the idea is that you if people who are very hard workers, who push themselves to the limit, experience or might experience this, where you exhaust your energy and your resources for a week on end because you have important projects at work or something that you can't afford to take a day off and all this kind of stuff. But then at the end of the week on Saturday, when everything's done and you can say, whew, some people have this experience, and I do. I'm having it right now. Some people have this experience when your body doesn't rest and recuperate, that it just sort of flips into this mode where it gets sick, or it appears to get sick, and you see your old chronic problems flare up, and you have these weird unexplained ailments that it's well, you don't have any kind of illness, you didn't catch a cold, let's test you for allergies, nothing's coming back. So it's this other type of illness that just reflects your body being overexhausted and just kind of failing. Not that there's an infection, it's just your body sort of loses its ability to function. That's called stress letdown. Or at least, that's one example. Stress letdown is one example of that type of thing. And I'm having that right now. In the past week or so, there were some cases where I didn't fully sleep as much as I needed to. And there's been some big stresses that I've been carrying at work for months, but I have been finishing in just the past maybe 2 weeks or so, which has been awesome. It's been really good. But there's been all these projects that, there's 8 small projects that I have, and they keep not being the most urgent fire to put out. So while I do all these other things, I'm also juggling these 8 other things that I don't have time for, but for 2 months I know I need to deal with them. Some of them have been longer than 4 or 5 months even. And like I say, in the past maybe 2 weeks or so, I've been finishing them. And so what used to be this obnoxious to-do list is getting more and more small. I have one final thing on it that I'm going to be finishing this coming week, and I'm almost done with it already. I almost finished this past Friday, just yesterday. Today's Saturday. Anyway, so all that is to say is I'm experiencing this stress letdown right now. I've been having some cases where I didn't fully sleep well, and I'm also finishing up things that I've been keeping it together for, and now my nervous system is just ah! And so now I'm having the stress letdown, and it kind of sucks. I hope I can take a nap. I see Rithlancer says, I'm working on a punk song. Nice. LBZ says there's got to be some kind of master platform or social media platform for creators. It's not that it can't be done, it's just there's not really a business model in it. How would the platform benefit? Well, one of the most rude awakenings that I've experienced but has enabled me to be a lot more functional in my life is understanding that there really is no such thing as altruism in public. You can have altruism with close relationships and, an occasional stranger, you might experience some altruism with. But for the most part, day to day, in the public domain, your random interactions with random strangers, altruism just doesn't really exist there. And that extends to the realm of businesses. So like YouTube or any other platform, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Those are businesses. They're not like altruism lords, altruism entities that will just give you. They're selfishly doing things for themselves. Whoa. So that's the realization that's helped me to be a little more functional. And in this case, on the topic of like a platform that would help creators reach the ideal audience, I hear that TikTok had a good algorithm for that, but the other way around. Not that it helps creators find their audience, but rather that it helps users find content that they would want. So it's slightly different, and it still means that creators don't have any leverage to find their audience. But what it does mean is that there is a way to do it. There's a way to like very finely, find the one person in that random town, in that random country, and the one person in that random whatever who would love my content and show my content to them. Over time, we'll see algorithms just naturally improve at that. But when will it be something that a platform prioritizes as the primary aspect of their business model? I don't know. Because content creators are the product being sold. Content creators are not the target audience of the platform. The users are the target audience. The people who consume are the target audience. And so that's who the platform prioritizes. How can I make this good for my users? Not how can I make this good for my content creators? And we, the content creators, we can sit here all day and be like, oh, they should want to help us though, because we're the ones. Yeah, but we're a million, a dime a dozen, a dime a million. We are not in short supply, we content creators. The platforms don't care about us at all. They don't have any reason to. Not because they're malicious, just because they're not focused on us. We're not what matters to them. If you're like playing a game of basketball or something, you're watching the basketball, you don't see that, random person in the bleachers who's doing whatever. You're focused on the basketball. And it's not because you have malice toward the person in the bleachers, you just don't care at all. You're focused on the basketball. Similarly, the platforms, they don't really care about the content creators. We're not relevant to them. If we can build a platform, well, then they'll use us to get views. And that's about it. That's the full extent of the relationship. Platforms are not there to service the content creators, but it would be awesome if they were. I would love it if finally I could actually fully reach my audience. Out of all the 8 billion people on Earth, I'm confident that something in the millions would like my content. If you find that each random individual who would like me, something in the millions. And I can easily, just from live streams, if there's let's say 10 million people who follow my page because the algorithm targets them properly. And then when I go live, there's however many hundreds or thousands of people watching. I could earn an income from that. And it's just me going live and doing streams that I'm going to do anyway. But because I reached the 10 million people who want my content, there's enough views that YouTube will pay me, let's say $20,000 a month. Would be nice if, in the meanwhile, until there is such benevolence, it's just on us, the creators, to make that, to somehow build that community, which is part of what's so cool here at the Reconsider It community, to be so successful in building that. It's on us to build community, to expand, to grow, to always have new people coming in, to share this video, to like and subscribe. It's on us, whether we like it or not. Dubsbox says that's why we have day jobs. Correct. That's we don't really have an option there. But I know that we don't have an option either in celebrating Buddy joining us, which is great. We are so thrilled and inspired. Milky says, I often need to take at least 3 days off of work before I feel relaxed. Oh man, you're telling me. Listen, the 2-day weekend is like way awesomer than anything we've ever had in human history. The biggest revolution in terms of the work week was having every 7th day off per the Holy Torah, suggesting that you need to rest on the Shabbat. And we'd have one day a week. That was like such a revolution. No, you must rest once every 7 days. Now, modern times, most of the, at least American culture and similar Western worlds, we take 2 days off a week. Although which 2 days sometimes varies per culture. 2 days off a week is like, wow, that's even more revolutionary. But as Milky's saying, and as I agree, I need more than that. I need like 3 days off. Let me work 4 days a week and take 3 days off. I'm just so busy. There's just so much stuff. I don't have time for anything. I don't have time to just sit down and relax. That's part of what's so cool about these live streams. This is a place to sit down and relax and just sort of catch your breath and connect with that togetherfulness that you love so much. I'd love that. My ideal retirement is something like I would still have a simple job that I work 2 or 3 days a week and only 4 hours tops per day. So most of each week would be off, but I'd still have some activity that I'd be doing, some interaction with others, moving my body. I still need to do something in retirement. And as I say, 2 or 3 days a week, up to 4 hours each day. I think that'd be pretty good. I'd like to do that in retirement. Let me be independently wealthy, receiving over $20,000 a month through various passive income streams. That'd be nice. But still have a nice little job. And maybe I work that job specifically for, health insurance or whatever, dental insurance. And to stay active. Milky says he also feels really overwhelmed by just day-to-day living. Yes, that's how I feel too. The world is 100% not made for me and people like me. It's a very overwhelming experience to go through the world every day. There's so much I need to manage consciously and intentionally. This little thing didn't work for me, so I have to do it in my own way. This other thing doesn't work for me, so I have to do that in my own way. This other thing doesn't work for me, I have my own custom solution for that. I'm always just fixing things and spinning plates, so to speak. Every day is exhausting. I get exhausted every day. I need a lot of time to relax. I need more time. Milky knows what's up. Milky knows what's happening with all that. coming! Milky says he was thinking about going over to Soar. You actually, that's exactly what I was thinking. I see we're close at, right now here on the Reconsider It stream, we're very close to 2.5 hours. We're just 5 minutes away. So I think what I'm going to do is the following. Let's take the next 5 minutes. Let's do our winding down ritual. Let's close it out when we get just past 2.5 hours. And in that sense, my friends, we got a really good beat today. We had a really good beat today. This came out real nice. I might use this one. We'll see. We'll see if I use it. But it's really good. I like it a lot. Friends, let's do our closing cheers ritual. You love how good this makes you feel. This euphoria you get on each Reconsider It live stream. Our wonderful cheers moment. Grab your drink, my friends. We are doing this. I am going to count to 3, and we are going to feel so togetherful, knowing that we're really cheersing. We're really physically moving our cups together. Man, it's so good. It comes like this, my friends. We do it on a 1, 2, and 3. Clank. Cheers, my friends. That's good. That's really good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share this video where it would be well received. With us we have Viral Beat. Friends, this has been such a good 2.5 hours together on this stream. I hope to see you again on the next live stream. My regulars know that we get together multiple times a week to do these looper and synth hangouts. Please like and subscribe. When we talk like this stream that you're watching now, that's called Tinker Time. Sometimes there's no talking at all. That's called unspoken. My regulars know. We get together, there's 2 scheduled times each week. They're at the top of the screen right now. Eastern U.S. time zone, that's every Sunday at 1 p.m. and every Tuesday at 9 p.m. You could put those in your calendar. We hang out for an hour or maybe more. Today was 2.5 hours. Those are the 2 scheduled each week. Put those in your calendar. But my regulars know we also do another 2 or 3 additional streams each week. It could be any day, any time of day. Enable notifications now so that you can join us for those unscheduled live streams. And until then, my friends, please have a very good rest of your day today. Please allow the rest of your day today to bring you all manner of goodness and blessing. Please allow the rest of your day to nourish you and heal you in ways that seemed impossible to you. Please experience growth and healing and benefits beyond anything you thought possible for you to receive and experience and live. Please receive and experience and live benefits and blessings and healings that exceed everything that you believe. Please receive. Please become receptive. Please receive all manner of goodness and blessing today. Please receive all of the goodness and blessing that is within your perimeter today. Please become receptive to receive more today. Please receive all of the goodness and blessing that is within your entire horizon today. Please allow your boundaries to be expanded. Please have a larger sense of what is even possible for you today. Please receive all of this goodness and blessing. Please expand and grow and heal and have profits. And I will see you in the next Reconsider It Live stream.